Hey everybody, Andre here, and like most people, I've been totally obsessed with Stranger Things Season 4 that just came out on Netflix a little while ago. And this song, Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush, is used throughout the show, but in particular there's this one scene that just like totally amazing. I won't do any spoilers, but for me it's like top 10 best TV scenes that I've seen in a long time. It's like really, really powerful, really emotional stuff. So the song, I mean, it's really, really kind of fascinating. It's this synth pop song by Kate Bush, released back in 1985, and there's a lot going on in it that I thought, I think it would be an interesting little video for us to discuss it. So here's the methodology, the plan. I want to go through the structure of the song, the form, hit a couple of musical details, but really focus on the overall structure of it, and then you can take it from there. I'm not going to go over every note, every little thing. This is kind of like a broad overview, and then you can take the next step if you're going to learn the song or whatever you want to do with it. Okay, so let's do this thing. All right, form. Let's talk about the form of the song. So it starts with an introduction, and I have some problems with calling it introduction because it does repeat several times, but for lack of a better word, it is an introduction, and we'll talk about that in a little while. But in the introduction, you basically set up the key. You set up C minor. And in the C minor key, you have this chord progression that's established, that's used over and over again, which is 6, 7, and then 1. And I'm hearing in the introduction when I listen to it that there's this chord, this chord, this chord, and then it kind of goes back to the 6th chord. And the harmonic rhythm here, so the piece is in 4/4, or the song is in 4/4, and for the introduction, it's one chord per measure, like that. And the introduction, you get this chord progression twice. So we start off before all of this with a little pad, a synth pad, and I'm not an expert on the instruments. I'll put a picture maybe over here about what kind of instruments were used, the synth and the drum machine. There's also this really cool balalaika, which is like a Russian 3-stringed sort of triangular guitar thing. I'll put a picture of that too, but it's used as kind of a textural thing in the choruses. It's really cool. You can hardly tell that it's a balalaika. It's like a very strange choice, but it's like super. The effects are really interesting on it. But anyway, so we're just talking musically. Sorry to get off topic. So here's the intro, and it introduces what I'll call the first motive, or maybe the main motive. So main motive, which is this bum 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 bum. Bum 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 ba-dum bum, and this will be really important throughout the whole song. So basically, the gist of it is in C minor. You have B flat, bum, bum bum. I think those are the right pitches. I don't have perfect pitch, but I think that's probably B flat. So this is on the 3rd beat. So every measure kind of looks something like that. So 1, 2, bum, bum, bum. And this is like kind of syncopated situation. So that measure happens 3 times. And then the 4th measure, there's a little bit of a deviation. But essentially, that motive is very important because it's kind of the influencing musical pattern for the vocal line as well. Because the vocal line is constantly bouncing between G and B flat, and it does explore other pitches, but this contour, this bum bum bum, is really the main musical idea. Okay, so all right, so we have the introduction, and then after the introduction we have a pickup into the first verse. pickup into the first verse. And in the pickup to the first verse, so let me just keep track. So intro, and then verse 1. I'll say V1, and I'll say A, okay? Capital A, just to keep track of the sections. So in the pickup to verse 1 from the introduction, the harmonic motion, it increases. In the introduction, it was every measure, but here it's every half note. And the pattern is a 2-bar pattern. So the intro, the pattern was kind of a 4-bar pattern, but now it's a 2-bar pattern. And it's basically C minor, G minor, A flat major, B flat major. So 1, 5, minor 5, major 6, major 7. So it's basically using C natural minor as the main thing. We never have the B natural leading tone, so it's not harmonic minor or anything like that. So this pattern repeats 3 times, which I think is really interesting. Kind of an odd number. And then it shifts to a new pattern, also with half note motion, where it goes to an A flat chord, then an E flat major chord, and then a minor 4. And this minor 4 lasts for the whole measure. And this goes on twice. So we basically, the first verse, what I'll call the A section, is a 5-phrase section. You know, we have 5 of these 2-bar phrases. It's really kind of strange why it's such an odd number, but adds to the coolness, I suppose. By the way, I should say that I'm not going to go through the lyrics. I'm not going to talk about the meaning of the song. I'm just presenting the music. So it might seem like we're glossing over the vocal line, but really what I'm interested in here is the form of this song. Okay, so I'm going to write intro, first verse, which is the A section, and I'll just write 5 phrase. Okay, or 5 by 2, something like that. That reminds me that it's a 5-bar phrase. After the first verse, we have the first chorus, and I'll just say chorus 1, and I'll call this B section. And in the chorus, the harmonic motion changes again. Now it's every measure, so it goes back to being a 4-bar phrase. And we have the da 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 da. If I could make a deal with God, that thing. So we have the A flat chord, then the B flat chord, and then the 1 chord, which lasts for 2 bars. And this is repeated 2 times with the vocal line. And then what's really interesting, and now it circles back to the intro question. After this happens, we have 2 bars, or excuse me, 2 phrases of that same chord progression, 6, 7, 1, 1. And I actually sometimes I hear it almost like the 6th chord comes back here. This happens twice too. So there's a question formally. Is the chorus a 4-phrase chorus, or is it a 2-phrase chorus and then there's like an interlude? And I'll tell you that I'm in the camp of 2-phrase plus interlude. It's kind of an interesting thing. So, but I want to acknowledge the fact that these 2 bars, or these 2 phrases, are really similar to the intro. So it's got to be something. There's got to be some kind of a solution here. So I think what we'll do, so interlude, we have 2 phrase, and I'll write like intro. And to show us how it's like the intro, we're going to change these letters here. And we're going to say the intro is A, the verse is B, and the chorus is C. And then we can come back to the interlude and say it's kind of like the intro. And I'll say A prime, because it's really similar, but it has no pad and it has extra vocal lines in it. So that's why I'll say A prime. It's similar to the introduction. All right, fantastic. So basically we have a unit here, and then we have the start of a new unit. So here's a unit, and then this is the start of a new unit. After this interlude, we get verse 2. I erased this a little bit. We have verse 2, B again. We'll see if it's the same in just a second. So in this second verse, we go back to that harmonic motion of every half note, same kind of chord progression. But this time, this verse is way longer. It's fascinating. We have this 1, 5, 6, 7, C minor, G minor, A flat major, B flat major. We have this thing, these 2-bar phrases, happen 5 times. 5 times. It's fascinating. And then it shifts to that yoo-hoo thing, which was the 6, 3, 4. And before it happened twice. And now it happens 3 times. So this second verse is an 8 phrase section. So we have 3 additional phrases. It's really, really kind of interesting. So this is B prime, way longer than the B section. It's very interesting why it's done that way. There's this kind of extension. And then after that, we go to the second chorus. And you might think, well, is this chorus any different? And it's not. It is the same kind of thing. It has the 6, 7, 1, 1. Happens twice. So this is a 2 phrase. But because there's been a proportional change here, there's got to be a proportional change somewhere. And we have an interlude after this, which is A. This time, it's increased in proportion, right? It's a lot longer. So we have the motive come back, the bum bum bum. We have that 2 times, but then also we have the yoo-hoo from the verse added on to the intro. So added on to the interlude. Excuse me. So this second interlude, which I'll say A double prime, is actually a 5 phrase. So it's longer than the intro, and it's longer than the second interlude. And it's been affected by the longer verse here. So here's another unit, and here's the start of a new unit. Okay, great. After this interlude, we have what's called the bridge. And the bridge is that come on, baby, that thing. Sorry, I'm just shifting my notes here. So the bridge, and we'll label this D. It has the vocal line in thirds, right? And it uses the same chord progression as the chorus. It has that A flat, B flat, C happens twice. So a two phrase, kind of similar to the chorus. And I'll say, similar to chorus. And I almost want to not say D. Logically we want to say that the bridge is different than the chorus because the lyrics are different, right? But musically, it's really similar to the chorus. So I'll say down here, maybe C. Okay. This is the kinds of questions that I lose sleep over. These like labeling concerns. And after the bridge, we get another interlude. And this time, this interlude is the same one as we had back here. So this is A prime, where it's a 2 phrase again. Okay. And then after this interlude, we have a chorus. that happens 3 times. Chorus times 3. And with each of these choruses, we have extra things added. So the first of these choruses, we have a guitar introduction, or the introduction of a guitar. Then we have vocal layering in the second of these choruses. And then in the third of these choruses, we have some melodic transformations where the main melody that Kate Bush is singing is changed ever so slightly. And then after this, I ran out of space. Let me fit it. Then after this, we have a little bit of a coda. And in the coda, so back here, so this chorus is exactly the same here. So the harmonic motion, every bar, but instead of, it's 2 phrases for each chorus times 3, so 3 of these choruses. And then coda is where the harmonic motion goes, instead of every bar, now it's every 2 bars. So harmonic motion every 2 bars instead of every bar, every measure. But it's using the same chord progression as the chorus. And it's this kind of like echoing of the main vocal melody in the chorus. In motive 1, the main motive from the synth reappears there as well. And we have this kind of like really cool octavized da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, that happens a little bit with the vocal line at the very end, right before we have a pad that ends the song in the same way that the song started. The song started with a pad and it ends with a pad too. So there's the kind of structure. And I'm left thinking, kind of feels like we have a unit of sections here. We have a unit of sections here, and we have a unit of sections here. At the end, it's kind of longer, and you could break this up, I suppose, but it's kind of convenient that you see it in 3 parts. So this is really kind of a ternary form, where you have a three large divisions, maybe, or you can hear it as just this kind of a layout. So there's the formal architecture of Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. A couple of notes that I want to just think about a little bit. That synth, the bum bum bum, and the melody. Why do they work so well together? And I want to just put this word out here. Angular. It's a very strange vocal line, isn't it? It's so jumpy. It's constantly leaping back and forth between thirds and sixths and fifths, and it's not a melody that has a lot of stepwise motion in it. It's mostly leaps, and that repeated the running up that hill, da-da-da-da-da, the vocal quality that she gets in it, it's so interesting because it matches that synth perfectly. That synth has a vocal-like sound to it, and her vocals have a synth-like sound to them. It's this beautiful marriage of texture and tone that kind of adds to the continuity of it. It's all very, very concisely put together, I think, in terms of the texture. And nothing seems out of place. It all blends really, really well together. I think that adds to the magic of it, why this is such a memorable vocal melody in the chorus, despite the fact that it's really jumpy and angular. It's almost robotic in the way that that kind of the rhythm of the melody. So that's kind of cool. The other thing that I want to point out is this ostinato in the drum machine that just constantly goes dum 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 dum. It's mostly this bum bum bum. So 1/8 to 16ths. Dum digga 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 dum, like that kind of a ostinato forever, infinity. and it just keeps the song chugging and chugging and chugging along. And even though this ostinato never really breaks, there's little moments of transformation, but it's either this or this sometimes. But this always goes on, no matter what. But the harmonic motion shifts. The harmonic motion shifts from verse to chorus. In a verse, it's every half note. Chorus, it's every measure. Coda, it's every 2 measures. But despite the harmonic motion changing, the actual rhythmic underpinning, that ostinato doesn't change. Again, it adds to that consistency. It's almost a sense of urgency, too. It just like chugging along. So that's kind of cool. And in terms of the texture, yeah, I like how it builds. I like how the song starts really simply with a drum machine, the synth, and the vocals. And with that's pretty much it, those 3 layers. And then it adds extra vocal layers, and then it adds some guitar, which is really unexpected, but it comes in a beautiful spot because, wow, it's towards the end, it's kind of building, and then we have this like vocal counterpoint stuff going on, lots of extra lines at the end. It's building to a climax. This song is awesome. I think that's the moral of the story. This song is really awesome, and I think you should listen to it as much as you want. But maybe this is interesting for you. Maybe this taught you absolutely nothing. But here is the formal architecture of Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. I missed many things, but I did say right at the onset that I'm not going to go over every note. This is just going to be kind of an overview of the form, and then you can go and do the next step as you learn to play the song or sing the song or just appreciate the song. So if this was fun for you, if this was useful, do leave a comment down below, like the video, and if you want to have more content from me, just subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. I upload occasionally. Anyway, thanks everybody. I hope you have a really great day. Bye.